Hello and welcome back to another episode. We're back with Season 2, Episode 4. With me I've got
Chris, Jaden,
Benny,
Brandon,
Philip,
and we're back. So let's get started with Fox Lane versus Somers a few weeks ago. It was just domination by Somers throughout the game as they won 49-12. And a cool fact is, and Jaden can vouch for this, I said going into the game 49-10 would be the score.
All right, and John Jay absolutely was crushed by Somers, with Somers winning 46-7. Now we're gonna move on to my Somers sports highlights this week. So JV football, it was Somers versus John Jay as well. Somers didn't get possession first, but ended really strong with them winning 49-21. And I'm going to go through the rundown really quickly. And there are two common themes. Not one extra point was missed after touchdowns, and most of the touchdowns were a long-distance run. So, number 7, first touchdown for Somers. Then number 5 on John Jay got the touchdown. Number 4 got the touchdown running over 60 yards in one go. And then again, another touchdown running 73 yards in one go. And then number 4 on John Jay this time ran 52 yards in one go for a touchdown. Number 21 ran 28 yards. And then John Jay, again, number 5, but he got a regular touchdown this time. 21 on Somers. He ran 50 yards for a touchdown. Number 7 ran 20 yards. And number 6 ran 15 yards. And so I say that the star players are number 4, Dean Monticelli, who is a captain, with 2 touchdowns totaling 125 yards ran for both of them. Then number 21, Luke Balancia, who also got 2 touchdowns but ran 78 yards. Now freshman football, it was Somers versus New Rochelle. They dominated the game, scoring 32-2. Varsity girls volleyball, it was Somers versus Walter Panis. They won 3 of 4 sets, 18-25, 28-25, 25-14, and 25-21. Then they played Kenny Catholic, which I was not able to get the score for. Then it was Somers versus Lakeland, who Somers sadly lost the game, losing 3 sets, and then they did not play extra for the 4th one. And then varsity boys volleyball, they sadly lost in the extra set. They won 2 of 4. So it was 9-25, 25-23, 13-25, 25-22. Then they went to extra set and lost that 11-15. Varsity girls soccer, their first game against John Jay this week was a tie, 1-1. Somers versus Croton Harmon, they won that game 6-1. And against Lakeland, they won 5-4. Then varsity boys soccer, it was Somers versus Lakeland. Somers won 3-0. And varsity girls field hockey, it was Somers versus Hendrick Hudson, who Somers won 2-1. And then Somers versus Byram Hills, they got a tie 2-2. And now, I just wanted to mention that this week, Sunday, me and Benny are broadcasting the varsity football game, and I can't wait to do it. So stay tuned.
Yeah, make sure to check it out. It's going to be on Local Live. So check Local Live. And if it's on our YouTube, subscribe to see if it's on our YouTube. You'll get the alert.
Next up we have Somers and Brewster. This is not this week's game. It is next week's game. I have Somers winning 38-13.
So I'm going to assume that they get a similar score of last year because they lost pretty bad. So I'm going to assume that Somers wins 35-12.
I'm going to say Somers dominates. I don't think it will be close. Brewster, as far as I know, isn't the best team. And I think they're going to win it 49-19.
And now we're going to recap Week 5 in the NFL.
Hey, folks. A lot of close and exciting games this week in the NFL. And let's take a look. It's the fastest 3 minutes, Benny style. Here we go. Starting off Thursday night, the Buccaneers take on the Falcons. A shootout into overtime. Kirk Cousins to Hodges. Falcons, they win at home in a thriller. In London, we had the Jets and the Vikings. Aaron Rodgers It was just picks for him all day. Throwing 3, Vikings are 5-0 as they win 23-17. What a show of the Ravens versus the Bengals. Joe Burrow had 5 touchdown passes. 2 were to Jamar Chase. Lamar Jackson had 4 touchdown passes, including this beautiful one to Isaiah Likely. Tied at 38, let's have some overtime. In overtime, tied at 38, it's King Henry rushing to get the Ravens into field goal range. Ravens win 41-38 in a thriller. The Texans take on the Bills in a game where the Texans went up big 20-3, but the Bills were able to come back to tie it at 20. However, C.J. Stroud and the Texans defense had other plans as the Texans kicked the game-winning field goal. The Texans are 4-1. In Washington, it was the Jaden Daniels show. The Commanders have won 4 in a row for the first time since 2008. Caleb Williams taking on the team that could have drafted him. It was domination by the Bears. The Bears are 3-2 and have won 8 in a row at home. Another dominant game by the Broncos. Broncos? They're 3-2. They've won 3 in a row. Seahawks and Giants. The Seahawks are trying to tie it to send the game into overtime. Oh, a block. Isaiah Simmons rushes it back for the touchdown. Giants get their second win of the year. They're 2-3. Brock Purdy down late to the Cardinals, trying to drive the Niners to a win, but Arizona had other plans. The Cardinals win. Both teams are 2-3. The Packers take on the Rams. What a day for Tucker Kraft. Packers, they're 3-2. Rams fall to 1-4. Dolphins without Tua, no A-Chain, no problem. Dolphins beat the Patriots 15-10. The Jaguars, the only 4-0 team. But today, Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars had other plans. They wanted to prove they're still a legit team. Jaguars get their first win of the season. So next up is our Week 7 NFL predictions, and we got a lot of exciting games.
We've got a Super Bowl rematch coming up in Week 7. Chiefs and 49ers. I have the Chiefs taking this game 38-24.
I got the Rams versus Raiders. Rams are gonna win 24-13, and the Bengals versus Browns games. I have the Bengals to win 34-21.
I sang the Eagles 34-23 against the Giants, and I'm assuming that Saquon Barkley may not play as well because he's playing his former teammates. Let's hope he still does well though.
I have the Chiefs winning against the 49ers 35-31 because Christian McCaffrey's out. Jordan Mason, I think he had some sort of concussion. I think he's back, but I don't think they're going to do too good. But it's going to be a close game.
Alright, so I predicted 2 games. First game, the Super Bowl rematch. I think without McCaffrey against the Chiefs, the Niners aren't going to be able to compete that much. They're not looking so great. The Chiefs have been able to win, however, with losing Rashid Rice, and I think Chiefs are going to get it done. Scores a bit closer than the game, but I think the Chiefs are going to win 29-20. And then the second game, I've got an exciting game going into overtime where I see the Packers beating the Texans 32-29. Big offense game for Stroud and Jordan Love.
This is the top 10 plays of the Week 5 of NFL. 10th play, I said the Darno movie triple coverage Moss. Number 9, Raheem Shaheed 43-yard touchdown. Number 8, Jaden Reed 53-yard reception and triple coverage. Number 7, Kyler Murray 50-yard rushing touchdown. 6, Isaiah Hodge game-winning touchdown for the Falcons. Number 5, Jamar Chase 70-yard touchdown. Number 4, Lamar breaking 2 tackles and throwing a touchdown. Number 3, Pat Surtain's 100-yard pick 6. Number 2, Seahawks fumble recovery for a touchdown. And number 1, the Giants block kick for a touchdown to win the game.
Next up, we got some NFL news for you. First up, we got some big news out of New York where the Jets decided to fire Robert Saleh as the first firing of the 2024 season. A surprise for most.
Benny, you say first firing? Are you assuming that there's going to be more?
I think the Jaguars coach, Doug Peterson, I think he's going to be out soon, and some others. Plus, the NFL does fire coaches a bit too much.
True.
The Chiefs and the Vikings are the two remaining teams undefeated at 5-0, and I'm going to predict their records. Take a look. All right, folks. So what I'm going to do now is there's two 5-0 teams, as I was saying before, the Vikings and the Chiefs, and I'm going to predict their schedule. Let's get started with the defending Super Bowl champs, sitting at 5-0, and it's now week 7. They take on the 49ers without McCaffrey still. I think a lot of people are going to say Niners. I think the Chiefs, as much as I hate to say it, the Chiefs are going to get it done. And then week 8 against the Raiders, I think that's a dub. So sitting there at 7-0, taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield, it's going to be a tougher game. But I think the Buccaneers will lose to the Chiefs. Now sitting at 8-0, going up against Sean Payton, Bo Nix, and the Broncos. I think this is a trap game for the Chiefs. I think the Broncos and Sean Payton, like they did at the end of last season, in that game where they lost to the Broncos, are going to come in with a game plan and give the Chiefs their first L of the season. So now sitting at 8-1, taking on the Bills. Bills are good at beating the Chiefs in the regular season. I think they'll do it again, dropping 2 in a row. So Chiefs are now 8-2, and then they got the Panthers, an easy win for them. They advanced to 9-2. Then going to the Raiders. They lost them once last year. I don't think it's going to happen again this year. I think the Chiefs are going to get it done. And in week 14 against the Chargers, another trap game, but I think the Chiefs just too good against the Chargers. The Chargers haven't been able to beat the Chiefs. I don't think it's going to happen there. Chiefs win. And week 15 against the Browns, Deshaun Watson has not looked that great this season so far, but I think this is where it could change. And I think he's going to show up against his good friend Mahomes, but the Chiefs are going to still heartbreak all the fans and win. And then we got the Texans, where I think this is another trap game for the Chiefs. This could possibly be the matchup of the two best teams in the AFC at this time. I think the Texans will dominate the Chiefs. I don't think it's going to be close. I think the Texans get a huge statement win. However, the Chiefs are going to get their revenge in the playoffs. That's a prediction. Then week 17, we got the Steelers. I think that's a W for the Chiefs. And then to end it off, we got the Broncos in week 18, an easy win for the Chiefs. And that puts the Chiefs at 13-4, folks. Now to the Vikings, the other 5-0 team. And coming off the bye week, as well as the Chiefs, we got the Lions. I think great job, Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson. This team's been great. However, it's going to end there. I think they'll compete, but I think they're going to lose to the Lions. The Lions get it done. Both teams, I think, advance to 5-1, assuming the Lions win next week. Then we got the Rams on Thursday Night Football, I believe. And I think the Rams are going to lose. I think the Rams just haven't looked good this year. I think the Vikings are a better team, so they'll advance to 6-1. Then we got the Colts, where last year, that biggest comeback, embarrassment for the Colts. I think this will be an easy win for the Vikings. Then we got the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think this is a trap game for the Vikings. I think, despite the Jaguars not looking so good so far this year, I think this is where the Jaguars pull off the upset. Trevor Lawrence shows up and does great, and then the following week against the Titans, I think they get it done. They also get it done that following week against the Bears. Then we have the Cardinals. And in the Cardinals game, I think this is where the Vikings are going to take the L. I think Cardinals are a good team, and I think they'll get it done here. But this is going to be a high-scoring offensive game, I believe. And then we got the Falcons a week later. I think another offensive game. But I think the Vikings are going to get it done here. And then we have the Bears. I think they get it done there. I think they get it done against the Seahawks. Only 3 losses, 12-3. However, we got the Packers week 17. I think they're going to drop that one there. And to end the season, I think they're going to lose against the Lions. So I got them going 12-5 on the year. That's my prediction for both the current undefeated teams. And finally, our big news, other big news is Devonte Adams has suggested a trade out of Las Vegas. So I want to know from everyone, where do you think he will go?
I think Devonte Adams will go to the Saints because he went to the Raiders because he wanted his quarterback to be Derek Carr. Now Derek Carr could be his quarterback on the Saints.
I think he's going to the Jets. In my opinion, he wants to play with Aaron Rodgers. Used to be his old quarterback on Green Bay. There was a trade suggested that was come up together by the Jets and the Raiders, kind of like a little on and off, about sending Mike Williams. I think sending Mike Williams a third and some couple late rounds of the Jets, and they could definitely use another wide receiver to help him out.
All right, I've got him going to the Patriots. They have a talented young quarterback, Drake May. He was just appointed their new starting quarterback, so I think that they could go well together.
All right. And I think one team that is missing a good receiver that needs one, they lost Stephon Diggs in the offseason, is the Bills. And I think the Bills would be a perfect fit for Devonte Adams.
And I think he might also go to the Jets. I agree with Philip there.
All right, and now we got the Jets record prediction. So obviously they're 2-3 right now. Lost to the Niners, Broncos, and Vikings, but they won against the Titans and Patriots. So this is week 6. They're going to be facing the Bills. I do think they're going to lose. Honestly, I don't think they're doing as hot as they usually are. And they're not usually that hot, but Aaron Rodgers hasn't been doing too well. Just lost to the Vikings in London, which is kind of all right. Then they face the Steelers. I don't think they're going to do too well against the Steelers. One of the best defenses in the league, led by T.J. Watt. So I think they're going to lose that. I think they get another win over the Patriots, clearing them. They face the Texans. If I'm being honest, I don't think the Jets are really a great team in general. I know they looked good on paper. People taking Breece Hall and taking Garrett Wilson in fantasy drafts really early. I don't think they're going to do too good, so I have them losing there too. Against the Cardinals, they should win this if that defensive line can do good, stopping Kyler Murray from just running all over the place. They should be fine. Against the Colts, I'm not too sure. I do think they're going to win. Anthony Richardson, I don't know if he was out, but they have Joe Flacco, 2 old quarterbacks. I think the Jets can take that. Then they head into their Week 12 bye. Week 13 going against Seattle. The Giants beat Seattle already. I think the Jets can just do the exact same thing and win there. Against the Dolphins, that's away in Miami. Dolphins are not looking good at all. They lost Tua to a concussion. He might come back, probably not, just because it's been happening. I have them winning that, even though it's an away game. Against the Jags are, I think, 0-4 or 0-5. I'm not too sure. I don't know what's happening. They need to fire their head coach ASAP. So I think they're going to win that. Against the Rams, I do think they're going to lose. I know injuries have gotten the best of the Rams, but I think when Puka comes back, if Cooper Kupp comes back, I think they're going to be outstanding. Against the Bills are looking great. They only had one really big loss against the Ravens. There was their first loss in 26, 27 games by 6 points, which shows their defense has been holding up. Then they lost to the Texans by 3, so I do think they're going to lose that. And then it's against the Dolphins, home. It's to be determined, not really sure of the date, but I do think they're going to win that. So I think they're going to go around 7, maybe a floor of 7 wins and a high ceiling of maybe 9 to 10 wins.
All right, thank you for that, Philip. Next, we're going to jump into some MLB stuff. Right now, we are in the postseason. So far, both New York teams have advanced to the championship series, and we are going to a Game 5 with the Tigers and Guardians and the Padres and Dodgers. Quickly, I think the Tigers are going to get through, and the Dodgers are going to get through as well. So now, we're also going to predict our World Series winners and who's going to be the runner-up.
All right, so I'll predict first. I think the Mets are going to win the World Series for the rest of the playoffs because they've been doing pretty good so far.
I have the Yankees and Dodgers in the World Series, and I have the Dodgers taking the series in 7 games.
I agree with Brandon. I also have the Dodgers winning versus the Yankees in the World Series.
I think it's going to be the Mets, and the only reason I think that is because I'm not really too big of a baseball guy, but I was talking to my dad and some other family members. They said if there's going to be a team to take it, or let alone a New York team, no offense to Brandon, I know you're a Yankees fan, I do think the Mets are going to come out on top. They've been looking phenomenal in the postseason, and I think they're going to keep that up.
So I'm going to predict the rest of the playoffs. So Game 5, Dodgers, Padres. I think the Padres are going to take that. I think the Tigers take the series against the Guardians. So we got Tigers versus Yankees. I think the Yankees get it in 6. Yankees go to the World Series. And I think Mets streak ends here, and I think the Padres are going to win that series in 5. And then in the World Series, I got the Padres beating the Yankees in 6 games. All right, folks. So NASCAR this week was pretty exciting. We had Talladega, and with a few laps to go, it was Stenhouse and Cindric leading the field. And then the huge crash happens, as you see right here. A big crash happens involving 28 cars. And that's the most in NASCAR history, a crazy stat. And that crash shaked up the playoff race in NASCAR. It changed up the whole thing. And because of that, William Byron advanced at the end of this race. But after that, because there was a big crash, we had overtime. And there was a battle between Stenhouse and Brad Keselowski for the win. And it was Stenhouse getting his first win since Daytona 500 of 2023. Alright, so next up we got the main part of our episode today, the sports debate. And what we are debating is who is the best NFL team of all time and why. Brandon, go first.
I've got the Cowboys. I have a bunch of stuff, but I'm just going to lift on a few things, keep it short. So the Cowboys have won 5 Super Bowl titles, 71, 77, 82, 93, and 95. Their success during the 1970s and 1990s show that they were really a powerhouse out there. They've been given the America's team brand, along with consistent playoff appearances. They have over 30 playoff appearances throughout their history. They have multiple Hall of Fame players such as Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith. And Forbes consistently ranks the Cowboys as the most valuable sports franchise in the world, valued at $11 billion, which really speaks with their financial success and influence.
All right, Brandon, I know you love talking about the Cowboys, but come on, give another team a chance. I'm personally an Eagles fan, but I gotta say, the Patriots were probably one of the best teams, and the reason why I think that is because there's a lot of multiple times that they go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, what do you think, Benny?
Alright, so no surprise, I put down the Patriots. So many reasons. Let's get started off. 6 Super Bowls, tied for the most. Tom Brady, the best quarterback of all time. Bill Belichick, the best coach of all time. Both playing together. There's so many reasons why the Patriots should be on this list. They're one of 2 teams that have gone undefeated and gone 16-0 in a season. Patriots able to pull off 2 dynasties towards the beginning and end of Tom Brady's career. And Tom Brady was drafted 199th overall and won 6 Super Bowls because of a system with Belichick and stuff. And I think that's more impressive than the Cowboys because it's more Super Bowls, first of all, and it's more dynasty and it's the same players and coach and system, and they're able to do it 6 times. Meanwhile, the Cowboys took a while to rebuild, and then they haven't been able to do anything since. Patriots are also a newer team, so impressive.
I think it has to be the 49ers. I know there's a bunch of cases for the Patriots and all these other teams, but I think it's just the Niners. If you have prime Joe Montana, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, even now you look at it, you got Trent Williams, one of the best offensive linemen now and all time, Christian McCaffrey, even you got the backups, Jordan Mason looking decent, Deion Sanders, even having Nick Bosa. I think all these pieces just show. And they have I think I have the 5 Super Bowls titles too. They've been to a couple Super Bowls recently, obviously losing to the Ravens, Chiefs, and then Chiefs again. But I still think they're one of the best teams, if not the best team of all time.
Alright, so before we go, one more question I've got for all of you. What is the biggest surprise of the 2024 NFL season?
I've got that the rookie quarterbacks are doing pretty well so far. Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, and Bo Nix have all been doing well.
I don't know how the Vikings are 5-0. I didn't even know. I knew Sam Darnold existed. I didn't know he actually was a quarterback still. I thought he was just done. I don't know how he's even playing well. He's playing great. He's looking like an MVP. Obviously, it could also be part Justin Jefferson kind of carrying this team a little bit. But I do think that's like the biggest surprise. How are they? I would have never suspected them to be 5-0.
I know it's not probably like the biggest surprise, but it was for me because in fantasy I drafted McCaffrey first. Like I was the first pick, first round. I got him first, and he ended up becoming injured like last second, and I believe he still is, or I'm not sure the current status of him, but hey, that's not great for me. What about you, Ben?
One thing that surprises me the most is the Bengals sitting at 1-4 and Joe Burrow with 12 touchdown passes, only 2 interceptions. The Bengals have just been really unlucky with their matchups. Despite week 1, all other games they had a chance to win, but the Bengals sitting at 1-4 really surprises me.
My biggest surprise of the year would probably be the Chiefs being 5-0, considering that they don't really have a wide receiver anymore because Rashee Rice is hurt, Isaiah Pacheco's hurt, and their number 1 wide receiver now is a rookie, Xavier Worthy.
All right, folks, so thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.